If you like what you hear in this podcast and want to help us keep the lights on, then you could support us on Ko-fi for as little as a £1 one-off donation. The links are in the episode description. Thanks for your support. This is Skip, the podcast where we tell you, in our opinion, which albums are truly unskippable and which ones belong in the skip. I'm Mike.
I'm Rob.
And this week we are taking a look at How to Make Friends and Influence People by Terrorvision, released in 1994. And this was, of course, suggested to us by Matt from Stoke, I think. I didn't check the sheet, but I'm fairly certain it's Matt from Stoke.
He's from Penkridge.
He's from Penkridge.
I got it very wrong. I'm terrible with geography. It's a good thing that this isn't a GeoGuessr podcast.
In geography, right, I don't feel like I learned anything about the world.
I learned how to colour maps.
Yeah.
And I learned more about geology.
Rain cycle, 3 kinds of rocks. Basically, that's it. The rest of it was a DOS. Why do we bother? Anyway, for more good content criticising the UK school system, tune in next week, because right now we're going to talk about Terrorvision, which is not a band that I knew much about until Matt suggested this, apart from when putting them into YouTube to see if they had any music videos. I found out this is the band who did the Tequila song, and when I say the Tequila song, I don't mean it's not that one. It's the other one. It's Tequila. It makes me happy. That one. That's them. No clue. I had no idea.
I was completely oblivious.
I gotta be real with you, right? I think this is the first one of this show that we've done where I've truly had no clue. I mean, the closest we've come in the past has been the Porcupine Tree one. And I still feel like I'd seen that album cover somewhere. Like there was a little tingle in the back of my head, and I was like, you've seen this.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. You were adamant that you've seen that album cover before.
But like, even if I hadn't heard of the artist, so like Kendrick, I didn't listen to his music before we did that review, and I at least know who he is. Terrorvision, I could not have told you the first goddamn thing about this band, the music, this album. I mean, I'll be real with you, the album cover is like, it's not exactly giving much away, is it?
The name isn't really giving much away for the music, to be honest. Like,
no.
If you're thinking current circumstance, when you've got band names like Terrorvision, you'd expect it to be very heavy.
Terrorvision feels like the band name that if Ice Nine Kills could have another go around, that's what they'd be called.
It's either that or it'd be like a Chuckle Brothers metal act.
I'd listen to that.
Terrorvision.
To me, to you, to me, to you, to me, to you.
Kind of in the same vein as that Ned Flanders metal band.
Oh, Oh Killy Do Killy.
Yeah.
Oh, that. Okay, make it happen. I don't know how you make the Chuckle Brothers metalcore album happen, but somebody out there can do it.
I mean, they did a track with Tinchy Strider.
The Chuckle Brothers did?
Yeah.
What?
It literally says to me, to you in it as well.
So,
yeah.
That's a thing?
Yep.
What the fuck? Why did I know about this?
That can be our track of the day. I will find out exactly who it's by, but I'm sure it's Tinchy Strider.
Well, I never heard of that, similar to how I never heard of this album. So, I'm coming in super duper dead cold on this. I have nothing to offer up top, and I feel like we could just get into the facts and figures unless you know anything that I don't.
Well, I don't. I've just got the facts and figures.
What
for
a
you.
lead in.
I know. Sorry, that was a bit of a cock tease, wasn't it? So this album was their second studio album and was released when we were 2.
Yes.
So this was released on the 18th of April, 1994. So we would have been.
I was 2 in 1 day.
Oh, what a treat!
I remember. I remember. When I was 2.
You remember this album?
No, I don't remember when I was 2. But like, my parents will remember that when I was 2 was when my hair weirdly was at my longest. Before my dad took me to get a fucking buzz cut. He cut all my fucking hair off. My mom was pissed.
Yeah, I can understand.
And that's
why.
the only thing I remember about 1994.
And what a grand memory to have. So this album was actually recorded in New York and London over a short and intense period, and they compiled it in 17 days.
That's a pretty quick turnaround.
That is a damn quick turnaround. I think that might be quicker than Fleetwood Mac with their drug-fueled benders.
I mean, that dragged the hell on. That's almost the opposite of this.
So there were 5 singles from this album. You had Oblivion, Middleman, Pretend Best Friend, Alice, What's the Matter, and Some People Say. And they were released between the 28th of March 94 and the 6th of March 95. So they spanned it out over a year.
That's pretty good.
That is quite the span for singles.
I'd rather that a band did that rather than just... I mean, we always like the do 3, then fuck off and record something else. But if you're going to have 5, if you're going to have 7, if you're going to release the entire album as singles, at least spread the love.
Yeah, 100%. And to be fair, it was a different time back in the early 90s. Technology wasn't what it is now, and was a lot more difficult to actually record these things.
Mm-hmm. And also distribute them, because 94 meant it probably got released on cassette. And why is cassette coming back?
I don't know. As long as mini disc backs the fuck off, we're fine. I think about 4 people I know had a mini disc player, and we thought that they were corny as fuck. Let's take a cassette tape, make it slightly worse but bigger.
Yep.
And slightly flatter.
What was mini about it? That
I don't know. It was just slightly smaller than a CD and twice the cost.
I'm personally waiting for the Laserdisc renaissance.
My
That'll be
friend still collects laser discs and has a laser disc
Apparently
player.
the quality's amazing.
Apparently
for what
it's
it is.
phenomenal, but they're so big.
This is it. Like, I can't afford to be keeping fucking... Well, no, I was about to say belt sander. It's not what I mean. You know, like a big circular saw that you cut tiles with.
Yep.
Just going, oh, do you want to watch a film? And getting that bastard out every time.
Pulling out a cupboard and it's got 4 films in it. It's the size of your wall. You might as well have a reel of IMAX tape.
Listen, if they're going to keep increasing the price of these streaming services, I will go to Laserdisc.
Oh, I don't know. I'd rather go to IMAX.
That's more money. That's somehow more money. More money to buy a ticket to an IMAX film than it is to buy Disney Plus, which is saying something.
No, I'm not talking about buying the IMAX film. I'm talking about stealing the tape. I'll have one film on repeat.
What we're watching tonight? Well.
Avatar. What we're watching tomorrow?
Avatar 2. What, the second one? No, Avatar twice.
We're gonna watch it backwards. I bought the reverser.
We've
really derailed already.
We have. Okay.
So, this album actually delivered Terrorvision's first meaningful chart traction in the UK.
Yes.
And it's actually got a BPI Gold certification for shipping over 100,000 units.
Which ain't nothing. Like, we only ever seem to celebrate platinum, but gold's still bloody good.
And the Enemy gave very favourable marks, and this album earned respect as a strong follow-up to their 1993 debut, Formaldehyde. Great album names, I have to admit.
I mean, if you like Panic at the Disco, that will be a very familiar song title to you. What's that in? That's in Bill God Will Talk, isn't it? Formaldehyde. We've got to get this out before we do the show, right?
100%.
We seem to be prompting acts to go and perform the albums that we're reviewing, and it's getting scary now.
Yep.
So we coincided the release of one of our first episodes with We Are Scientists releasing a new album, and that was accidental. And then who's the first one to go?
The Kaiser Chiefs.
The Kaiser
did
Chiefs.
Employment in Full.
They're doing an Employment in Full tour, aren't they?
That goes in February.
Yep, and that was not long after we did that review.
Nope.
Then it was
Panic at the Disco releasing the 20th anniversary tour. Well, not tour. It's the 20th anniversary show at When We Were Young Fest.
Yep.
Which timestamping this episode was 2 days ago.
Yes, that happened. And then the one that I didn't think, well, we didn't know it could happen. Near enough the day we put the episode of The Streets of Grand Don't Come for Free out, they announced they are doing the A Grand Don't Come for Free in Full tour.
For the first time
ever.
And for some reason, not coming to Birmingham.
Yeah, the guy's only from here. And it's like, Mike, what are you doing, mate?
He's going to Ludlow.
Margate. Like, there's some weird choices on that on that tour.
Mike Skinner, I know you're a listener. Come to Birmingham, Bab.
Bab, come home. Come on.
Come on, you know you wanna. We'll buy tickets, I promise.
So that happened, and then Panic were like, not only are they doing they did the album in full When We Were Young, they're also re-releasing it as an anniversary edition at the start of next year. This keeps happening, and it's getting weird now.
So if there are any artists that have broke up or have an album that you'd love to listen to in full for the first ever time, feel free to send that to us at skippedpod@gmail.com.
Thinking about it, right? if this was released in 1994, this is a 30-year-old album?
30.
No.
31.
31-year-old album.
I don't think they'll do a 32nd reunion tour.
No, I thought we were... I was like, ooh! But yeah, no, they did the 15th anniversary commemoration in 2009. So what we should have done was hold on to this until 2029 to see if we could force Terrorvision's hand.
Well, you never know. Maybe it's just coincidence that we're just happening to cover albums that are hitting major milestones, or maybe we are the messiahs of music.
It's one of the two. All I'm saying is that in the coming weeks we are reviewing an album that is very much back in the zeitgeist because there's a new tour that sold out instantly, and if you are of the genre where one particular note on a piano means a lot to you,
then we'll carry on.
We will carry on, and you'll know what we're talking about. But let's carry on with Terrorvision
before we go to the end.
Yes.
So let's talk about Terrorvision's album. So sound
only
themes,
12 minutes into an episode about Terrorvision.
The sound themes and standout tracks. So musically, this album blends hard rock, pop, and indie energy with high impact tracks, such as Oblivion and Middleman, and became major. Some of these songs became major favourites in the band's live set. The track Oblivion actually reached the UK top 40 and became the band's breakthrough radio hit, which for a band that didn't really see the heights of 100,000 sales is quite the feat.
It is, and I'm assuming the thing that would then top all of this would then be Tequila, which they released later down the line. Because this, I don't feel like Terrorvision are a household name, obviously in Matt's household, very much so. But generally speaking, I've mentioned this album to people. I talk about the show a lot because I'm very proud of it. And this is one of those ones where, like, even people knew Porcupine Tree were weirdly. Didn't feel like anybody remembered Terrorvision, which is... It felt a bit weird because this is very much... At 1994, that's still in the Britpop era. So it would make sense for these guys to be talked about in the same vein as, like, Oasis, Blur, and Pulp. And it does not seem like they were really bedfellows. Mainly because I don't think this album is a Britpop album. I've heard it talked about, when I've looked up online, that it is very much in that Britpop era. It's not. This is very much like a... I don't even think it's alt-rock. I think this is just like a bare-bones rock record, really.
Yeah, I'd agree. And going back to what you've just said about the whole Britpop argument, most listeners have said that the first 5 tracks of this album are the peak, like, Britpop sound that they had.
Okay.
And it's just the first 5 tracks.
Right, okay.
They say that's their peak sequence.
And then they go on to do whatever they want in the rest of the record.
Pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. We'll talk about how effective that is in just a minute.
But going back to what you've just said about anniversaries, so yeah, they did a 15th anniversary run in 2009, but then a 25th anniversary run in 2019.
Oh, okay.
So
we missed the boat.
They didn't do one. Never mind. We didn't miss it in 2024.
Yeah.
They just didn't bother. So maybe we can revisit this in another 4 years when we're still making these and we've all lost our hair and
when we finally got round to reviewing Kylie Minogue.
We just can't get her out of our head.
We just can't. It's weird to me that this band is British. Now,
that is such a weird thing to say.
Like, sometimes you can really hear it in... Like, there's one track on this album where you can really hear.
Is that the intro track?
No, weirdly, I didn't get it immediately. I think it took to, like what the Doctor ordered later on in the album until I was like, oh, this guy's British. It didn't track immediately. And I think that's why it certainly, in my experience, hasn't kind of pierced people's opinions of Britpop, because it just doesn't sound like it. It sounds like an American band. It kind of sounds like an American band that, like, is one of those lost to time, hidden greats kind of thing. And they're from Yorkshire. Like, yeah, got the Yorkshire thing when we did Kaiser Chiefs. That was undeniable. Here, I think it's completely lost. I don't think it's part of their identity in this record. I certainly didn't get that impression anyway.
Yeah, it was kind of more on a level of Rage Against the Machine for me. Like the sort of vocal range that they use.
You think?
I'd say, like...
Not like Zach Dillon, like it's more like a shouting, I guess.
Don't know, there's some elements where, like, I can't hear the English in them at all. So, like, to me, it was kind of Rage Against the Machine-y or, like, Audio Slavey, kind of like Chris Cornell sort of vocal
Okay,
range.
I do understand that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do understand that comparison. Maybe not Zach de la Roche, but like,
Maybe not, but definitely like Chris Cornell.
yeah, it leans into more of that, gravelly 90s, maybe Creed-esque at points, but certainly a lot more upbeat and up-tempo than
definitely.
Creed. So it's just a weird one to kind of put in that group. And I think coming in from that angle, when you go, oh, I think some of the comments on the video for Oblivion, no official upload for that, by the way, on YouTube. It's, every single Terrorvision video appears to be a re-upload.
It's probably because they're on video somewhere.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
probably.
surprised if Matt's hosting them.
If Matt has ripped that from VH, is it VH1?
No, he's got it from Laserdisc.
He's got his Laserdisc.
He's got his Laserdisc connected to the broadband, uploading at 0.5 megabit a year.
It's like, okay. I did not expect Laserdisc nostalgia to this level. Did not expect it. So, there's kind of no easy way to just say...
Would you like me to start?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so there's a couple of songs that I really enjoyed on this album. Starting off with Oblivion, I can see why it's been touted as one of the top tracks from the album.
Totally.
I like the doo-wop section. I love a good sing-along section. It was just a really fun rhythm, simple vocals, upbeat tempo. What more could you want? That's the way to win a 90s heart.
Yeah.
Simple as. I mean, if you compare it to like Love Shack and Two Princes by the Spin Doctors and stuff like that.
Weirdly, it is closer to that than it is to Blur, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a thought.
Like, it's so odd that they're closer to the B-52s than they are to Blur.
But it makes sense because they were leaning into that retro stuff. I mean, with B-52s, they were wearing retro like as a mask. It was the whole point of the act. Weirdly, it does what Kaiser Chiefs did when they basically tried to be the small faces in the middle of employment. It does that, but with the doo-wop stuff in this. But you've got that alternative twist, and I'm right there with you because Oblivion's very enjoyable. It was just an interesting way to do it. It doesn't last the whole record.
No.
I will say that. They don't lean on nostalgia as a crutch. They use it sparingly, and I think they use it smartly, which is
100%.
good.
And then my second track is Stab in the Back. I love the groove beat, and you can't beat a bit of guitar with wah pedal.
Yeah. They've got good structure in that song, because Stabbed in the Back is where they, just at the end of the chorus, they do that. It's like a minor key change, isn't it? Because
It is, yeah.
When you definitely lack originality, and like you don't expect that. I don't know. It's interesting structure.
There's a good bit of musical theory behind it.
It is, yeah.
It's like it's better planned than some of the albums that we've listened to that follow a formula.
Yes.
It's like they've gone, okay, what theory can we throw into this?
Mm.
We're educated in music. What can we throw at the wall? What's going to stick?
Yeah. Which again, for a second record, which can be a massive challenge, is quite impressive. Is quite good. I do feel the same about, funnily enough, both the tracks that you've mentioned, and I think what this album's problem is, and I'm not launching into bad songs because we're still just at the top, and we'll do best tracks in a minute. The problem is that I think it repeats its ideas too much. I think it's figured out about 3 or 4 songs that really work for them, and stretch that over the 12 tracks. Although is it 13? It's 13 tracks, and ironically, the quote I just pulled from Stabbed in the Back, what you definitely lack, originality, is a criticism that you could lauder against this record. And it's not that those songs are bad. I really want to stress that I don't think there is a bad song on the record. I just think that it does feel like the album goes on to repeat of itself without making that a stylistic choice. And I don't know whether that's something you agree with or not.
It feels like there's 2 versions of each song on the album.
Mm.
Every song has like a follow-on that's very similar in either theme or in the overall sound.
Mm.
And it's like they're doing negatives.
Yeah,
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the first half of the album is replicated in the second half of the album in a slightly different way to see if the users notice.
Yeah, and if that's a choice, then cool, we've spotted it. I'm not sure if that helps my enjoyment, but sure, I guess. I just got the impression, realistically, that this was the album that these guys wanted to make with a sound that they liked, and their lyric work is good. And that's what tips it more into kind of like an alt rock kind of thing, because it's not trite lyric writing. There's some interesting. I think Oblivion's great for that because it's very upbeat and very kind of bouncy and dancey, but the lyrics are very wordy. Like not quite
not Panic at the Disco level,
not Panic at the Disco,
or Fall Out Boy song titles,
but like I've got to get an example of, because the first couple of lines, it's shocking how quickly it launches into something that's quite verbose, and yet still maintains that drive and that rhythm through the song, which I really did appreciate. I'm going to go and look that lyric up now. You're going to have to give me a second.
No worries. I will talk about one of my other favourite songs, which actually goes against my usual disdain for slower tracks, and that's Some People Say. I really love the low, slow vocal range. I think it works really well with his voice, and it really works with the slower tempo, as opposed to some of the faster songs where I don't think it works so well being in such a low octave. I think the sound overall just pairs perfectly with the actual backing track.
Yeah, absolutely. So the lyrics, the first 2 lines of Oblivion: if all the people in the world camped out in your back garden, would you write and tell the king, or would you grab a tent and join them? And somehow in that rhythm, they found the perfect cadence for that. It's very verbose opening question, really. And it goes on.
But would you tell the king, or would you grab your tent?
Do you feel life is threatened by the fabricated stories dreamt up by the sons of campers you killed back in the 40s? It's what? Like, I really, really love what they're doing, because those lyrics are quite playful, and I think that they're at least trying something different. They're not doing the tried and tested alt rock route, which is we don't rhyme. They found a way to squeeze all of those like sentence cases into that rhythm and still find something that just about fits a rhyme. It's very lively, and that's something you can say about probably the first half of that album, is that it is quite lively. And I think where it finds that energy, that playfulness, and then allows them the space to use that kind of, I'm not going to say simplistic, but I'm going to say kind of tried and tested alt rock, pop, Britpop, if you want to call it that, tropes, and then shove their fun kind of challenge that they've set themselves with their writing in it. That's when the album works best. And it's not every track that's like that, which is a shame, because I think that marriage it's very, very cool to see. And I really wish that the rest of the record could have been like that. But sadly, not every track is that cohesive. And I think that's what makes Oblivion the best track on the record, for me personally.
I would agree. I think Oblivion is probably the top track for me as well. Are there any other tracks that you think deserve mentioning, or have we covered them all?
I mean, you already picked Stabbed in the Back, and I did enjoy that a lot. And again, it's because they found an interesting way to do rise and fall in and out of the choruses, which I really like. Discotheque Wreck is fun, and that's about as much as I have to say about it, because it does feature pretty bland lyrics. Now we're moving and now we're grooving. Come on, lads.
Sounds like a Five song.
It does sound like a Five. It was the 90s. It does make a lot of sense. And I think I'm going to give Middleman a bit of a bump as well, because it is different to what's on the rest of the record. The ballady stuff is not really anywhere else on the record, as far as I can remember, and did strike me as good single material. And it makes sense because it was the second single off this album. But I don't have anything else to say about it other than within those first 5 or 6 tracks, it did help to have a little bit of variation of the song styles. And Middleman's the only one that doesn't feel like it gets repeated, because once we get into the back half, then we're in repeat city. And yeah, we start to get a bit tired, I think.
Middleman loses a point for me.
Okay.
For being the 5th album track and not the 6th. Because it
could have been
the Middleman. You've missed out there, Terrorvision.
Yeah. So that's a skipped album.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week.
As I said up top, I don't feel like there is a out and out bad song on this record. So going into worst tracks is entirely subjective. This doesn't feel like something where I can actually pick out and go, this element specifically doesn't work, or this track I find abhorrent, or it doesn't feel like it belongs on the record. It all feels pretty cohesive, but by the time I'm getting to the back 4 tracks, so Time of the Signs, I like the title. What the Doctor Ordered, some people saying what makes you tick. I'll be honest with you, those kind of blur into one kind of mess for me. I'm not really picking out anything specifically that I like about any of those songs, and it doesn't make them a bad songs. It doesn't make the album bad, kind of like, unenjoyable. It just makes it feel fuzzy and working better as background noise.
The only caveat I'd say to those 4 tracks blended into one, as you say, for you, would you skip them? That's the big question.
That is the question.
Like, if they blend into one, and you can sit there and you have no issue with listening to them, are they truly unskippable, or would you look to skip any of the tracks? Or do you just generally enjoy listening to them? Of course, I'm not asking for your opinion now
of course.
on whether you think that album is skippable, because we need to leave that to the end. Otherwise, I'm going to cut this very short.
Yep.
But that's what you have to take into account when listening to this.
Sure.
But with that in mind, are there any tracks on the album that you dislike more than the rest?
No, like I say, I think the problem isn't that there's a standout bad song, and I can't point to one specific element. It is just the homogeny of the back end that makes this more of a problem and to evaluate. Like you say, it's does that kind of, it just blends into one and becomes fuzz and background noise mean it's good, or does it mean it's bad? And the question is not necessarily, in this podcast, we're not necessarily asking, is it good or is it bad? We're saying, is it unskippable, or does it belong in a skip? And to me, when we talk about unskippability, it can mean a lot of different things. Background noise very much can be one of the things that is a good thing. This idea of that it is so comforting that it can just be accompanying everything you do. I think you said that about the Arctic Monkeys album.
Yep.
So that can be a positive, but it's not a marker of quality. And to me, I don't think that something feeling like a big mass of just, and then we wrote the rest of the album, is necessarily a good thing. But we'll leave the verdict to later on, because I've got to give you an opportunity to speak. But I think this is the major issue I have with it, is that it's outside of Oblivion, which I think is brilliant, and a couple of other tracks that I enjoy. I'm really struggling to find a bit where I can point to it and go, this is why I like it. It just feels like another album. And I really don't want that to come across as dismissive, although, basically is. But it's only because I do think that artistic endeavours should have a vision. A Terrorvision, if you will. And this feels like the vision was expended in the first half of the album. The vision was expended on those singles. And then this was something that I do feel was more prevalent as we were growing up. So not late 90s, early 2000s, where the album was a vehicle to sell the singles as opposed to the other way around. And that feels like what's going on here. It feels like they had some sterling songs, certainly in Oblivion, Middleman, and they needed a vehicle with which to sell that. I truly hope that isn't the case. That is just the impression that I get.
Could this be a casualty of the short writing process? Could it be that they put so much effort into writing the first few songs of the album that 17 days was just not long enough to come up with a full album list, record it, master it, release it?
I mean, it's possible. It's certainly a thought experiment, but I actually feel like the 17-day turnaround is more impressive because of the lyricism that came out of it, as opposed to, well, it's a casualty of its own kind of drive, I guess. I don't know. That's something to ponder as we come towards the end of the episode. You've genuinely made me think about that.
Well, in a direct contrast to you,
okay,
I do have a track that I can put my finger on and go,
that's the problem. Okay, I'm interested.
And for me, it is the opener.
Okay, No, the thing is, I do understand where you're coming from.
One of my major gripes in music is repetition for the sake of repetition. And Alice, What's the Matter just irks me. There's just something about the mix of vocals and instruments that just grinds my gears. And when you get to the chorus of Alice, what's the matter? What's the matter, Alice? It just makes me want to rip my hair out of my ears.
Because we're that age now.
Yep. So, for me, that track, as strong of an opener as it is, I just have a major disdain for.
The thing is, I did see it as a weaker point of the album, but it didn't feel important to say that this was a particularly weak song. I put it down to, it was the opener. But actually, the albums that we like so much have incredibly strong openers. The Kendrick one, again, I know I'm talking about past episodes, and you may or may not listen to them. We love the opener of that album.
100%.
If you can hook us in that first song, you're probably going to get us to sit down and listen to it just for fun. It's going to be nice. And actually, you are changing my mind now. I do think Alice, What's the Matter is such a letdown. If this record had have opened with Oblivion, I think you'd be more excited to listen to it every time.
Oh, 100%. I think if Alice, What's the Matter was further down the listings towards the second half of the album, it'd be a much better placement. Having a strong track like Oblivion to open would be a winner in my book. But
you know, the bit about that song that particularly irks me, now you've got me thinking about it, is that the body of the chorus is this noise, man, 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 like that.
Repetition again.
Repetition. It is the pendulum of the 90s Creed-esque vocals. Sometimes that kind of just metronomic noise can really grate at you. But so, and just shouting the title over and over and over again. We had that problem with Adele. We've got it here again. Yeah, I think actually you convinced me. I think that is the worst one on the record now.
I'm glad we're in agreement. I did listen to this album in different ways. I've had it on my car speakers, I've had it in headphones, I've had it on bone conductor headphones, I've had it on laptop speakers. I've tried to give it a different listen to see if my opinion changes, and it just hasn't, unfortunately. I think it's safe to roll into our opinions of whether this is a skippable album or not.
Let's give the verdict.
And I unfortunately am having to throw this one in the skip.
Again, I do want to point out, I don't think, apart from Alice, What's the Matter, I don't think the music itself is bad. I don't think the writing, I think some of the lyrics on this album is very, very, very good. The problem is repetition, homogeneity, and really just not going anywhere after they'd spunked their 3 or 4 good ideas.
100%.
Which is such a shame. So I'm right there with you. I mean, obviously it's going to have to go into the skip because we're not in total agreement, so it doesn't matter what I say. But yeah, I was planning on skipping this before we came in to record today. And it is because I could only really name you a couple of tracks by title. Bearing in mind, it's been on repeat. I've given this one such a chance. I've had this on repeat more than we again, peel back the curtain, which I've already peeled back. We listened to multiple albums at once when we're preparing for recording sessions. And last recording session, we ran out of time to record this. So we had even more time.
It's been about a month and a half that we've been sitting on this one.
Yeah. So we had a lot of time to go over this album, which meant it's been on repeat more than music I actually want to listen to. And I get to like stab in the back and I lose steam. And I just can't, like that whole back of the album from Pretend Best Friend to What Makes You Tick may as well not be there. Like they've done all of their best material by the end of then again, 10 Shades of Grey is not really much of anything, but I like stabbing the back. You know what I'm saying? There's just too much of nothing and not enough of that special sauce. And the special sauce is what makes a truly great album, and that je ne sais quoi just cannot be predicted. We don't know what it's going to be. It unfortunately ain't here.
This ain't no Heinz. This is Asda special price.
Again, it's not bad. You know what? For the money, pretty good. We'll do the job 80% of the time.
Too much vinegar. Not enough tomatoes.
That's the problem. I didn't put enough tomatoes on my Spotify.
Alexa, add tomatoes to my podcast.
Add that to the list of quotes that make this podcast make zero sense without context. Love it. Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, Matt. Yeah, I know that you said that every track was a banger,
Disagree.
but I disagree. I got to track one. I was like, what on earth is this?
It's not a good opener. It genuinely, I think people underestimate how good of an opener you've got to have to truly hook somebody.
And knowing Matt's music taste, he's a big Alice Cooper fan. He's definitely into the older metal. This was a bit of a shock addition. I was expecting much heavier music from Terrorvision, so maybe that's just the name throwing me for six. But I started listening and I was a bit like, not my cup of tea.
Yeah. No.
I'm glad I gave it a listen, but not something I'd actively want to go back to. And unfortunately, it has to go in the skip.
Certainly does. So there you go, Matt. Apologies. But, better luck next time.
However, I have got a track of the week this week.
Is it the one we mentioned at the top of the show?
It is the one that we mentioned at the top of the
there
show.
we go.
So this week's track of the week is To Me, To You, Bruv, by Tinchy Strider and the Chuckle Brothers.
I'm still bemused that this is actually a thing.
It is a genuine thing. It came out in 2014.
Okay.
And it has got both of the Chuckle Brothers along with Tinchy Strider.
I was genuinely about to ask you the question, what was the time between this and Barry dying?
4 years.
4 years. So thankfully was not the thing he'll be remembered for. Oh, God. Oh, God. Have you actually... Well, you clearly heard it. You told me it exists.
It's a good song. And after this show...
What's Tinchy Strider do again?
He's a rapper.
Okay, cool.
He was on tour with N-Dubs. He was in the song Number One.
Mate.
Really good live.
You were witnessing my hair part as this flies over my fucking head.
Yeah, Mike was not big into the rap or sort of urban scene in the late 2000s. Or ever. So, yeah, send more late 2000s, early 2010 urban and rap albums, and it'll be great to see his reaction.
Hell yeah, I'll listen to a Chuckle Brothers album, why not?
Especially if it features the terms, to me, to you.
What is this episode?
I don't know.
What is this episode? This is so bizarre. Okay, right. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. This went places, and I was not expecting any of them. If you want to give us your suggestions for unskippable albums, you can send them to skippod@gmail.com. That's skipppod@gmail.com. You don't use the E. I have to say that in that order because the auto captions on Spotify keep listing our email address as skippedpod, you don't use the E @gmail.com, which it isn't.
That is a great email. We should have that.
I'm going to earmark that if we ever have a proper official website, it will have a ridiculously long URL.
Kind of like Slipknot with slipknot1.com.
Yes, exactly like that. And then no one will find us. So that'll be good. Thank you for listening to this. Please send your suggestions along on the link tree or at the email address, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.